So today's job, I'm here with the Defender Wolf 110. I'm going to be doing just a simple oil service. It's a 300 TDI, so we'll get amongst that, get my overalls on, and it shouldn't take too long at all. So we're underneath the 110 now, and you can see there's the sump plug at the back. There's the ubiquitous Land Rover oil leak of some description. Easy enough to drain there, and then let's try and focus the camera up there. There is the oil filter, which I should be able to get to from the front of the axle, in spite of the fact that the Wolf has a huge bash plate at the front, but that's not going to impede access to get to that filter. I've got a long breaker bar on this just to get some leverage. There we go. Get ready for the inevitable oil tsunami. Yep, there we go. Oh, for once, did not get it in my hair. Right, let that drain. So while the oil drains, I'm going to do the fuel filter here. That's easy enough to do. On this one, got a couple look like 8mm bolts down the side there. Just loosen that off and then unscrew this with an oil filter wrench. Sorry, a fuel filter wrench, which is also an oil filter wrench, and then get at the oil filter down there from underneath. So I shall crack on with that now and see how we get on. These two nuts on either side are an 8mm. Let's just tighten that up. It's not very genuine, but OEM quality. Let's get this off. That's down out. And then just get a rag ready. It is bound to leak a little bit of diesel. You can lift it out very carefully. As it's full of fuel. A little bit of a drip there. So I've just tipped out the diesel from the old fuel filter, and it's very, very clean, but you would expect that. I've been putting lots of fresh diesel in. It's not sat with old fuel for any length of time, so it's looking good in there. And you can pour this back into your new filter and prime it for when you start it up, and that's something I will be doing. And you should also just put a slight amount of lubrication around the rubber ring here. So I've filled up the fuel filter with the diesel, just lubricated the top so that it goes on nicely, and it's just a case of taking that off first, finding it on the thread. There we go, that's got it. And hand tight should be enough. There we go. Right, so there you can see the two sides are done up. There's the bleed screw on the top for when we fire it up, so I'll just undo that. That's a 10mm nut. Just let a little bit of fuel come out. You can see all the wax, look. The army went to town. They really wanted these to last a long time. So that's that bit done. Oil's probably drained now, so next thing will be the air filter in there. So let's have a look at that. The air filter just pulls straight out. But as you can see, this is the one I've just taken out, and this is a new one from a 300 TDI service kit. They are not the same. Well, lo and behold, the air filter for the Wolf is a two-part affair. This bit going inside that bit. So I've got to get online and find the right parts for this. I did not know that this was the case. It could be specific to the Wolf, or it might not. We'll figure that out. So just need to tighten that up, clean this, all the drips, maybe clean a bit of this, and sort that out. With a little bit of dexterity underneath, I've got the oil filter done. Now it's a case of, I've made sure the sump plug's on, the oil filter is on. Now it's a case of just putting oil in. And 300 TDI takes 7 litres of 10W40, so I'm going to use a jug, a measuring jug, and do 1.5 litres at a time, and hopefully not make too much of a mess. But what I'll do, just put this around like this, catch any drips while I'm at it. So while that is draining through into the sump, I'm going to tip all my oil into my old oil container so that I can take that to the tip and get rid of it responsibly. I've said this before and I'll say it again. One of these is a fantastic buy from a car show. You'll see them at Land Rover shows. It's got 2 handles either side. It's got this pouring spout so you don't make a mess everywhere. I used to use washing up bowls and they're okay, but they don't half make a mess when you're trying to decant it out. This is so much easier. And then you can stand it up, as I will do at the end, and leave it draining properly. So all I need to do is lift this up, put the spout in, and just gently tip it so it's all pouring in nicely. Doesn't go over the top here, so it doesn't make a mess. And at the end, you just leave it to drip for half an hour. Clean it out with a couple of rags and a little bit of petrol. Goes back on your shelf or hanging up in your garage, nice and clean. So what I'm going to do now, just tip that up, let that drain. I'll just show you so you can see that's all the crud that fell off the chassis and the underneath, and then it's going to all just drain to the bottom, and then now and again just tip it forward. Goes down the little spout and leave it like that. Well, that's the oil and filter service done on the Wolf 300 TDI. I reckon if you just got everything prepped and you weren't messing about like I did, trying to do filming, you could do it in an hour and a half maximum. All you need really is the 3 main parts. So you need the oil filter, fuel filter and air filter, so that's 4. I would suggest a big roll of blue roll. I get that from Costco, great for mopping up oil and stuff like that. And then obviously you need the engine oil as well. You need 7 litres of 10W40, a good quality oil as well. The only downside I found is that the 300 TDI standard air filter does not fit the Wolf. I need a 2-part Donaldson one, which I'll order today and fit as soon as that arrives. It seemed in good condition. I blew it out with the airline, almost no dust came out of it, so that's good news. When you take the oil filter off though, I'm sure if you've done a 300 TDI before, you'll know that the oil filter sits directly above the axle. So as soon as you undo it, all the excess oil comes out, it just drips all over the top of the axle casing and sticks in all those places where it can just hang out. So it took me quite a while just to clean that up. Other than that, no fuel purging needed, it just worked. And then I just got the grease gun out and did all the prop shaft UJs and sliding joints as well, just to make sure that they're fine. I've checked the oil pressures, sorry, the tyre pressures. So it's looking good at the moment. I'm pleased with the Wolf. It's ready for my trip down to London. Got fresh oil. It probably hasn't done that many miles since it was last serviced, which was a few years ago, I will admit. But I thought it probably was a bit overdue. So it's a simple enough job to do. The reason I got Farrier's Automotive in Ratby to do it the first time round was because I didn't know the car at all. I wanted to make sure that the belts and everything was done. So they did that and put genuine parts in. Now for oil services, I can manage that on my own. It's just over 50,000 right now, which is what, 35,000 miles. It's the original engine, so it's very low miles for a Land Rover of this age, but I guess they were designed, these ones in particular, were just designed to sit and hang around in the battlefield with the engine running on idle whilst they charge the batteries and use the radios, etc. So I'll check that out, write it up as well for the service history for the vehicle. But yeah, it's ready to go to London, and let's see what sort of an impact it will have. I'm looking forward to seeing the other vehicles there and having a great day out. See you there, give us a wave, come and say hello.